How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Drew Johnson. You can find both of us on X at Dalton_Trigg and at Coach Drew33. Be sure to go subscribe to our Substack. We have a Mavs Step Back Substack now where you can find all of our written work. This latest game, the Mavs against the Lakers, I have three big observations or takeaway piece from that game that just got sent out to everybody's inboxes who subscribed. If you're watching on YouTube, there's the QR code. You can scan it on your phone and put in your email and sign up for the free subscription. And if you wanted to go ahead and sign up for the paid subscription, you'll already be in line for exclusive content that's coming down the road. And I've got something. We're working on something in the next week or so. I'm not gonna show my hand right now because you know how that stuff goes. But I've got some real fun stuff we have planned for this next week or so if it pans out. So be sure to go subscribe, whether it's the free or the paid subscription to our Substack. You'll also get early access to all of our podcasts if you subscribe to the Substack. I'll put that and send it out. I'll put it in Substack, send it out to everybody's emails, post it on there before it actually goes out to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that. So that's your incentives for signing up for that. If you just don't want to listen to us talk for 30 minutes to an hour every time, you can go read our written work too. So, but DJ, the Mavs, they were on a 5-game losing streak. The injury hits just keep on piling up. We knew Luka was out for at least 30 days. He looked better. Last night he was seen, he's ditched that scooter. So, he had the calf strain, but at least he's walking on, under his own strength now. And maybe he won't be out for too much longer. Kyrie Irving, it looked like he was going to play against the Cavs a few games ago. The game, of course, I'm in Dallas, and I had a great time. I love Dallas, the food, the culture, everything.
The food.
Mostly the food. Yeah.
Oh.
Fantastic per usual. But I went to Terry Black's too. I know we're getting off track here, but I'm a big Pecan Lodge fan. I kind of like Terry Black's better. So that's something we need to get you to try out next time we're out there. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, that Cavs game, it was already going to be tough because the Cavs are the best team in the league. They've only lost 4 games.
I can't believe we're saying that.
It's unbelievable. The start to the season they've had has been unreal. And it's because they have, they've got everything. Their backcourt with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, and then their front court with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I mean, it's just they're so well rounded. They've kind of remodeled their roster after the Celtics. Same concept. Everybody can shoot.
I think it's better.
Yeah, everybody can shoot. Everybody can pass. It's they've got the much more dominant front court, in my opinion. But I was thinking, okay, well, maybe they'll give the Cavs a run for their money because they had already lost at that point. Let's see, they had lost 3 in a row going into that Cavs game, and then before the game started, it was mentioned that Kyrie Irving was missing the game due to an illness. And the Mavs end up losing 134-122. Then before the Memphis game, it was announced that Kyrie was missing that one too, not for an illness, but for a bulging disc in his back, which, that's not quite as bad as having a herniated disc. So, but regardless, it's not good. So, now Kyrie's out. The Mavs had lost 5 consecutive games after losing that game in Memphis. And then Tuesday night, they played the Los Angeles Lakers, who had risen up to 4th in the West going into last night. And the Mavs came out and just destroyed them. Like it was a close game for the first half and the third quarter, like halfway through the third quarter, and then the Mavs just turned it on.
Mhm.
For a team that was on its second night of a back to back, and the Mavs and the Lakers having a day off between when they played Houston in their last game, the Mavs looked like the much fresher team. Their overall defensive effort was fantastic. They got huge contributions from several players. So, just going down the list here, Quentin Grimes led the team with 23 points off the bench, had 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and as I mentioned in my mini recap on our Substack, most importantly, 0 turnovers.
Yep.
0 goose egg. So great stuff from Quentin Grimes. Hit 6 of 11 from 3. And then you had PJ Washington in the starting lineup, 22 points, 8 rebounds, a steal, only 1 turnover, was a perfect 3 of 3 from 3. A couple of those were corner threes, which you love to see.
Mhm.
And then Spencer Dinwiddie, he had a good bounce back game after having a couple of frustrating outings, which typically he does. When he has a couple of bad games, he's always going to bounce back at some point. You just don't know when that is. But it had to feel good for him going against the Lakers, who he spent a half a season with. And, Lakers fan, he wasn't performing like he did when he was in Dallas or in Brooklyn when he was with the Lakers. And so he got, how Lakers fans are. They blame everybody except team management and LeBron. So Dinwiddie got some of that on his way out. And, it had to hurt Lakers fans because in 35 minutes as a starter, Dinwiddie had 19 points, 8 assists, a steal, 6 rebounds. He shot 8 of 15 overall, and he was a team best plus 24 on the night. So shout out to Spencer Dinwiddie. You got your revenge game against the Lakers. Those were the 3 main scores. And then obviously, you had Klay Thompson shot 50% from the field and from 3, ended up with 13 points. And then you had Jaden Hardy. He had one of those microwave type games. I think it was either the late third quarter or early fourth quarter where he hit like 3 threes in a row.
Yep.
And that's when like, okay, well, it might be the Mavs night because Jaden Hart, and it was from the same exact spot on the left wing.
Mhm.
He got the same exact 3-pointer 3 times in a row. The Lakers thought they could play some zone defense there for a little bit, and then as soon as the Lakers went to zone, that's when the Mavs started blowing them out. So not the greatest call from new NBA head coach JJ Redick.
I don't understand that call. I'm glad he did it, obviously, but a team like Dallas who can shoot so well, they've got so many weapons on the perimeter. Why would you go zone?
It was baffling to me because that's when the 3-point barrage started, and
Yep.
that's when the separation happened. So it was crazy, and it wasn't just Hardy. Like there was one point at the end of the first half. Now this was before they went zone, but their spacing was just horrible.
Yep.
And Klay Thompson, he ended up. It was like 3 consecutive threes for him
Yep.
to end the first half. The Mavs ended the first half on like an 11-0 run,
And he had 9 of them.
and he had 9 of them. So
Yep.
it was
No,
just awful.
another thing I noticed about them, I don't know, there's something wrong with them defensively. Excuse my eyeballs, guys. I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on with this one. It's a scratch cornea. No idea what's going on here. But
He's lying to all of you. He watched Maxi Kleba dunk in that game. Like he watched the Maxi Kleba double pump dunk, and he got so excited he strained so hard that he bursted a blood vessel in his eye. So that's really what happened to DJ.
it's that meme of that guy that's just sitting there screaming. What's that political analyst that everyone hates?
Political analyst.
The guy that sits there and goes, for the whole time.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
I don't even know. I can't remember his name.
Anyway, that was me last night. I was just sitting there just screaming at my TV.
I know who you're talking about, though. The original tinfoil hat guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That was me last night.
Yeah, the guy who got sued for millions and millions of dollars for putting fake stuff on the internet. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, the Lakers defensively, they looked horrible, especially whenever Dallas would go into like a 5-out set. I mean, you just spread them out and attack. And I'm going to tell you who they killed last night. I don't know if you picked up on this or not, but they just put Austin Reeves on an island and they murdered him.
Yeah.
They just murdered him over and over and over again. It was honestly kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
But Reeves, whenever you put him on an island, he is an absolute liability defensively.
Yeah.
100%.
And look, not just Luka and Kyrie being out. Daniel Gafford was out last night too, which meant more Maxey. And I mean, look, shout out to Maxey. He had a pretty solid game. I mean, he shot the ball 3 times, which feels like a miracle. He hit his only 3-pointer that he took. The other one was that dunk that was just came out of nowhere. You know, he dunked it so fast I couldn't even. I was like, did he actually dunk it? Did he make it?
Caused me to have an aneurysm. I mean.
Yeah, so 5 points, 3 rebounds. He had 5 assists. Look at Maxey dishing it out. Was a plus 21 in 29 minutes off the bench. So, I mean, you know, great stuff from him. Anthony Davis should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because, and I mean, look, it had a lot to do with Derek Lively too, but Derek Lively only played 19 minutes, mostly due to his foul trouble. He had 5 fouls last night. But, you know, Anthony Davis to only have 21 points and shooting 7 of 18 from the floor in that game where the Mavs are down Luka, Kyrie, Gafford, that's pretty terrible for his standards. Like, you would have thought Anthony Davis would come out there and have a 40 piece at least and have his way. But, you know, that's what happens. You get physical with them and, you know, you never know what can happen.
Well, it's
Let's see.
super interesting with him is, you know, JJ Redick at the beginning of the year said that everything was going to run through AD. Like the whole offense is going to be geared towards AD. I didn't get that last night. That's not what we saw.
Can't really do that if you're going to miss, you know, that many shots while going up against mostly Maxi Kleba. So
yeah, I mean, there's really no excuse. Like anytime they get you the ball, it needs to be a bucket in that scenario because there's no reason, you know, no disrespect to Maxi, but there's no reason he shouldn't score every time.
You talked about Reeves, and it reminded me, you know, just to confirm, you know, what we saw, but Tim Cato, formerly of The Athletic, and now he does NBA media work for All City. He tweeted out last night that the Mavs put Austin Reeves into ISO 15 times during that game last night. Said no one had done that more than 8 times all season. It was an absolute ruthless roasting of him. Literally the entire second half strategy was to take turns to cook Reeves. So I thought that was a pretty good, you know, sum of what happened last night.
No, he nailed it. Cato nailed it, man. I didn't realize it was that many times. Good Lord. But I mean, now the Lakers have to really wonder, you know, how are we going to address team defense whenever Reeves is on the floor? Because now the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, like have they been exposed now, you know?
Absolutely. They have absolutely been exposed in that regard. I mean, all you got to do is go 5 out, spread them out, and then attack Reeves. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, it was crazy to see. And, you know, one of the bright spots I thought for the Lakers, and it pained me to see it, was, you know, Dorian Finney-Smith. They recently traded for him from the Brooklyn Nets. And, you know, you saw before the game, Luka and Dorian were chatting it up. And during that game, he hit 3 of his 4 threes. And I'm pretty sure 2 of those 3 that he hit were from the corner. And you know how much Dorian loves his corner threes. And it just pained me to see him do that at American Airlines Center in a Lakers jersey. It just did not feel right at all.
Yeah, this here right here, this isn't from the infection. It's from that. Like I'm sad.
Yes. It was a pain to see. You know, their rookie Dalton Connect, fellow Dalton, he was a bright spot too. He had 13 points in just 16 minutes off the bench, went 5 of 8. I really like that kid. I think
he's solid.
He dropped way, way farther than he should have in that last draft, and it's only because of his age. You know, it's because it wasn't he a 4-year senior or a 5th-year senior?
4 or 5. Yeah, he did 2 years at JUCO. I can't remember what the name of the was it I can't remember what the name of the JUCO is. It was like
Figure.
North Central State or something like that. I'm definitely wrong on that, but it was something
Yeah.
obscure.
Well,
Anyway,
regardless, he's 23 years old, and that's the main reason he fell. Because, in my opinion, I think some people take the age stuff a little too. I mean, if you're below 25 years old and you have elite talent, you can. So yeah, Dalton Connect. I thought he dropped way further than he should have. Would have loved for the Mavs to have found a way to get him, but it just wasn't in the cards. But I could. It made me sick to see him fall to the Lakers. But it looks like he has been pretty solid for him so far, and I hope I hope it doesn't continue to the point where he elevates them to make up for Reeves' defensive shortcomings. So we'll
yeah,
see.
because he can actually guard.
Yeah,
He's not like he is not a lame duck defensively. And honestly, I was shocked to see that out of Reeves too. I thought Reeves was better than that defensively, but I
yeah.
guess I was wrong.
Well, just looking at the upcoming schedule, the Mavs still have 3 more home games. This is a 4-game homestand. They started off with a massive win. It was the first win for Dallas when both Luka and Kyrie don't play in 10 tries. They were 0 of 10 in their last 10 games. They played without both Luka and Kyrie. So very good win. I'd argue it was the best win of the season. I think Zoe thinks the same thing. It was incredible. Uh, now they have Portland on Thursday night. Then they get Friday off, Friday and Saturday off. And then they play the Denver Nuggets in a 2 p.m. Let's see. Yeah, early afternoon, 2 p.m. start time. The last time that happened, Kyrie Irving hit a buzzer beater on St. Patrick's Day to give them a win. So that should be a fun one. Then they play Denver again at home on Tuesday of next week. And then after they finish up this 4-game homestand, they're off to New Orleans on January 15th, where we will be in attendance to see Najee Marshall's revenge homecoming game, hopefully. So it's I think it's a pretty reasonable schedule coming up. I mean, look, Luka and Kyrie being out hurts, Najee being suspended for 4 games, and then PJ Washington being suspended for that Portland game that they lost to start that 5-game skid on December 28th. That hurt worse than the initial shock of Luka and Kyrie being out, in my opinion. But now Najee's back. Now the depth is back to where it needs to be. PJ Washington, according to Jason Kidd and Quentin Grimes, has stepped up as a locker room leader.
Good.
He's kept encouraging guys and everything. So things are looking up. I know people were freaking out over the 5-game losing streak and they were planning their tanking strategies and all that, but I think the Mavs will be okay. So, we'll see how it goes. But guys, look, we appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in every single time we come on here. And again, be sure to go subscribe to our Substack, our Mavs Step Back Substack, not just for early access to our podcast, but for all of our written work too. I've got a trade piece coming up on Herb Jones. So
Oh,
you don't want to miss that. I've got, it's basically just my thoughts on how viable it is based on the Mavs assets and what's going on in New Orleans. So be on the lookout for that. That's my next piece. But be sure to go subscribe. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, that's the QR code. You can use your camera, go put your email in for a free subscription. And then for exclusive content in the future, if you want to pay the $4.99 per month or for a full year, you can do it for $50. You can sign up for a paid subscription. So be sure to do that. Guys, we appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.
say bye bye.